Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to John W. Speaks. Today's a great day.
Happy Halloween.
I was originally planning on doing something a little bit more elaborate for Halloween, but what can you do when your computer crashes and deletes everything you've been working hard on for the last 4 months?
What are you gonna do?
Rather than indulge in a Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey live watch, which was a whole lot of fun by the way, I'm gonna fix my attention to a couple horror movies that don't suck so bad that they have your own hard drive deleting your commentary on them. Dan Trachtenberg's Prey and Fede Alvarez's Alien Romulus. A quick rundown and update here. Since Disney took over 20th Century Fox and shifted this branch of the studio into 20th Century Studios, there's been a bit of a rebrand of old IP like Avatar and Planet of the Apes, as well as a call to revive dormant horror franchises that have been beloved since the 80s. And after the total failure that was 2018's The Predator, this classic 80s horror franchise felt like it was on its last legs. But with the revamp in place for 20th Century Studios, 10 Cloverfield Lane and The Boys director Dan Trachtenberg got to take a crack at a completely different type of story, this time set from the POV of a young Comanche woman as she fights a lone predator against a backdrop of the 1700s interior plains. If you couldn't tell, I think Prey totally rocks and is an awesome blend of practical and CGI, astonishing in its level of detail, and also Amber Midthunder gives an impassioned central performance as well. Since this was a straight-to-streaming Hulu release, a lot of people were up in arms due to the hesitancy to give this a full-on theatrical release. So 20th Century Studios head Steve Asbell has assured us in a new interview that Trachtenberg's follow-up Predator Badlands is in fact coming next year and is in fact going to be hitting theaters. Yet that's not all, because apparently there's a secret animated anthology film that Trachtenberg also shot, and that's set to premiere on streaming prior to Badlands' release date. So what exactly is going on here? From the looks of it, it seems like the studio is all in on Trachtenberg's vision, and I gotta say, from a fan's perspective, this is terrific news. Prey was probably the best Predator movie since the 1986 original, and to see the studio trust Trachtenberg to bring these stories to life in thoughtful, intriguing ways that don't get bogged down in nostalgia, member berries, existing lore, or pressure to do something new, that's a side of franchise filmmaking that I can get behind. Do they tie it into existing franchise material? Maybe. But the thing is, that shouldn't be the focus. Or at least, if it is one, it should serve a greater purpose for the story that's at the center of this iteration. Speaking of... Considering the popularity of Prey 2 years ago, it was a wise decision on 20th Century's part to move the spectacular Alien Romulus from streaming to the big screen, because $350 million on an $80 million budget is super impressive any way you slice it, so it's no wonder that they're going full steam ahead with a direct sequel featuring the return of Fede Alvarez as well as stars Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. But wait, there's more, because FX veteran Noah Hawley of Fargo and Legion fame is developing a TV series called Alien Earth, which is set to release next year, so I think it's safe to say that Disney is extremely enthusiastic about these new stories being told by Alvarez and Hawley. And if you think about it, just a few years ago, all of this could have looked completely different. And it very well still could be if we factor in Ridley Scott's David films, which never got a third installment. Given how excited Asbell seemed to be about Romulus' success, I could see an organic way in which that story is completed, whether that includes a full-fledged film dedicated to Fassbender's David, or even an appearance that fits into the greater framework of what Alvarez or Hawley are trying to do. That being said, the fact that 20th Century Studios is taking their time with these stories and championing characters and creatives above all, that's something that Marvel and Lucasfilm need to champion on their end as well. Because I myself loved Alien Romulus, not just because of its gnarly kills, or its gruesome, acid-laced, grotesque gore, or its batshit crazy third act, but I loved it because it presented us characters to root for, characters that felt like they had a soul, even if one of them was clearly an android. So I think it says a lot about the forward progression of these franchises, that we're seeing patience and absorbing of the small wins from 20th Century Studios, which will undoubtedly turn into much bigger wins down the line. Okay, so I titled this video the way I did for a reason, and I get it, I talked at length about building each franchise through nuanced approaches, but I really think a new AVP could not just work, but be one of the greatest things we've ever seen in horror sci-fi. Alvarez is down, Asbell and 20th Century are down. I think you do it, especially if you can get the creatives on the same page and allow them to lock in. Obviously, time isn't of the essence here, so both Alvarez and Trachtenberg can focus on their respective solo adventures, but a culmination into some kind of clash revolving around similar themes, dismantling the machine and sticking up for the little man, or woman in this sense, I could see that really connecting with audiences. Make the protagonist a huge Hollywood actress that would attract all the attention and the marketing dollars. It's worked before, and preferably you could get someone with an Oscar win tag attached to their name. Boasts scale, dramatic heft, cinematic weight, unrepentingly horrifying kills that, unlike the fun campiness of the original AVP, make your skin crawl as you regret asking for such a terrifying versus battle. We've never been in a better position to make this happen, so mark my words right here. If 20th Century Studios keeps letting movies like Prey and Romulus succeed, there's so much potential and upside to add an historic level of not just box office power for the legacy of this franchise, but prestige. The originals are lauded for a reason. They were templates for what modern films do today. So giving the reins to Alvarez and Trachtenberg and even Hawley on the TV side feels like we're seeing a reawakening of these imaginative concepts, which made it so appealing and exciting in the first place. And this Halloween, I couldn't be happier with spooky news such as this. Alright, that's all I got. Bye!